credit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because most of our business owners don't know where to even start. I've set it up for nonprofits, churches and pretty large, medium to large sized churches.
Yeah.
But on small businesses, and then after the recession, that changed because a lot of them were operating with lines of credit and so forth and so on, and that kind of changed everything. The recession kind of changed the looks and the feel from bankers and from everybody. So what would be the steps, and give us an overall view of what that looks like, and then how does one go about acquiring it?
Okay. Most businesses fail because of undercapitalization.
For sure.
Okay. They don't have enough money.
Right.
Many small business owners tend to use whatever their personal resources are to fund their business.
Which is when they fail, they destroy everything.
Absolutely. Your credit goes down the tube.
Yeah.
Okay. So banks are not a viable alternative for small businesses because that is not their focus. That's not where they make the most money. Banks will gladly lend to established businesses that have financials, and
assets,
income, and everything else. They'll gladly do that.
Of course, there's mitigated risk is small.
And of course, they'll loan a lot of money so that's how they make their money. So they're not set up for small businesses.
Okay.
So corporate credit, in the past, many people have thought that it wasn't available to them. They didn't think about it. No one advised them about it. But after the recent economic meltdown, the space has changed. There are now many alternative lenders and financial institutions. Now, look, if you have money, the only way you're going to make money is if you loan it.
Right, which,
Okay? So there are literally thousands of those entities now that want your business. But you have to have your corporation's, your business credit in place because it has to meet their underwriting criteria. So that requires that you build the credit for your entity. Now, many people don't realize that you don't have to. The prevailing thinking and wisdom is that you have to be in business 2 years before anyone will loan you or extend credit to you. That is not true. We do corporate credit under the rubric of CDNP LLC. Okay, that's our corporate credit company. And we do two things there. One, we have a basic program for small businesses that may have started yesterday. If you started a business 5 minutes ago, in 4.5 months, we can have your credit set up. And you'll have about $75,000 worth of credit.
okay.
Now, business credit, in some instances, is like personal credit, and that it can grow over time. So if you start off, if your personal credit is $550, you can take that up to $850. So business credit is the same way. Over time, if you take care of it, it'll grow.
Okay.
When financial institutions see that, oh, you're responsible with money, they'll give you more money.
Right, exactly.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, now, in the past, it was, well, first of all, everything's changing all the time, including personal credit, business credit. Okay. So in the past, when the prevailing wisdom was that you have to be in business for 2 years before anyone will extend credit to you, lots of people were going out to get these shelf corporations to show they had been in business X number of years. The business credit agencies are aware of that now. So when they do their due diligence, they look, all these computers now everywhere talk to each other.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to find out anything about you. So they look, if you say I've been in business 10 years, well, they look to see, first of all, when your bank account was established. Oh, that was 2 weeks ago. and then your name only appeared as president 3 weeks ago, the Secretary of State's database. Okay. So it's unwise to go out and buy a shelf corporation if you think that's going to be of benefit to you when you're setting up your corporate credit. It is not.
Okay.
Now go ahead.
Okay. So corporate credit is based on what you've established in terms of vendor credit first. Okay, so you want to first establish vendor credit.
So that's like establishing your Dun & Bradstreet.
Right. So there are three credit agencies that have to do with business. Three business credit agencies. Of course, the 800-pound gorilla is D&B, Dun & Bradstreet. But Experian also has a business credit agency that's used by a lot of companies.
Oh, that's good. I didn't know that. Yeah.
Right. And,
Okay.
And so does Equifax.
Equifax does too? Really? But now they're in hot water, so nobody wants to go there.
Well, that's on the personal side. They have a business side also.
Oh,
Okay,
completely separate from, okay.
Right. So now we don't know if they've hacked the business.
We just know that they hacked the personal side.
Okay. So the reason why it's people don't know about establishing business credit, which makes perfect sense, by the way, because if you set up your corporation's credit, it has nothing to do with your personal credit.
Right.
Right.
And don't be fooled. Many people will say, well, you have to have good personal credit to establish business credit. That's not true. Your personal credit only comes into play if you are trying to get a lot of money. They're going to look at your personal credit. Other than that, when you're setting up your business credit, they're not going to look at your personal credit.
Which is why you should have your legal structure in place. Because, I mean, if it was just Crystal Mitchell Company, and I am Crystal Mitchell, and I'm a sole proprietor, then yes, they would be looking at my personal credit, right?
Absolutely.
But if I was Mitchell Business Solutions and an LLC or a C Corp or whichever one, then they're looking just at what I've established under my business, right?
Yes, you have to have a corporate entity for you to get corporate credit.
Okay.
There's no getting around that.
So that means the sole prop is not considered that then. If they're a sole prop and they've been in business for 10 years, then they're not going to be looked at like an established company?
So what you do, and that depends, by the way, if you've had vendors reporting in that period of time, D&B will give you a number. Whenever you do business with anyone and they report, D&B automatically gives you a number, by the way. You don't have to pay D&B to get a number.
Right, which is why it's so amazing to me that people don't have their Dun & Bradstreet. I mean, there are parts of it that you do pay for.
Yeah.
The monitoring and so forth and the changing of your structure.
Yeah.
But just to set up the account and get the monitoring of, if you're a realtor, a retailer and you got a vendor that you're buying your sodas from, Coca-Cola or Pepsi, then they're coming every 2 weeks or so, right? So you're paying them because most of them won't let you have it on credit anyway.
See, the thing about it is, though, a lot of small businesses, Dun & Bradstreet, I think they do a disservice to themselves because they come at small business like wolves in sheep clothing, because there are ways that they can get the number for free, but they try to make them think that, hey, you got to pay for it. So now a lot of businesses shy away from that, and that's probably part of the reason why they haven't been able to establish credit.
Yeah, most of the times when you get a call from Dun & Bradstreet, they're trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
Right.
By the way, D&B have several companies, and most of them are marketing companies.
Exactly. Like First Research, that's one of their companies. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
Most of them are marketing companies, and they're just trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
But so, for example, you can get a number for free, but it'll take you 30 days. They'll give you a number free, but it'll take you 30 days. But if you pay $49, they'll give it to you in 5 days. So they're always trying to sell you something, which is why if you're in this process, you need to be guided by people. Otherwise, you're going to end up paying $1,500 for their credit monitoring service, and maybe you don't need to.
Right.
Okay? So there's a way to do this. The biggest part of starting the process of building credit is finding vendors who will give you credit even though you have no credit.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So 99% of all businesses won't do that. So that's where we come in. We know the ones that will. And that is how you start the process.
See, that's a good point right there.
Yeah, because before the meltdown, the general consensus was Arrowhead, they did it. Staples would do it. Places that you wouldn't build up a huge account. You would just your monthly water bill or your monthly or your supplies, your office supplies. So that was usually the first place that we started. A lot of the churches that I set up their DMBs, that was how I restructured them. Was setting their corporate account with with Staples or Office Depot or one of those entities. And
then they reported to Dun & Bradstreet.
And then they were reported to Dun &
Bradstreet. And then that's how it started building.
And by the way, not all businesses report to
Exactly.
Some of them report to Experian, some of them report to Equifax. So you have to know who's reporting to who.
Right.
Okay.
And the only way to know is to tap into your service.
Well, yeah. I mean, you have to be guided by this. So we have the basic service where we'll set up your corporate credit for you. They call it building corporate credit. We also have for people who have been in business, who are well established, they have financials and bank balances and everything else that you need. They may not qualify for traditional bank financing, but we know that there are thousands of other lenders out there that will finance them. Okay, so that's the second portion of what we do, which is financing. So we know the people and the institutions that will give you money, that will loan you money if you are already established, if you have receivables, if you have financials, if you have your bank balances are what they need to be. We know what the underwriting requirements are for these institutions, and so we're able to place you with them for financing. And so, we're talking about $250,000, $5 million, $10 million, $20 million. That's all available.
So that would be not for. Is there entities out there for startups?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Because banks just won't touch them at all. And my philosophy is, you just said it. If I'm starting a business and it's got, all the potential in the world, but if I don't have a significant amount of capital, I can't really get it moving. If California or the economy needs manufacturing companies, well, you got to have a lot of money to start a manufacturing company. Yeah. And you can't go to a bank, but that would change the economy, right? Because you can hire more people. But anytime you're going to hire people, you got to have some capital from somewhere.
Right.
Absolutely. People come to me all the time and they want to start a clothing line. They're just, oh, really? Do you know how much money it costs to start a clothing line?
Right.
Okay. So some of these businesses are very capital intensive. You want to start a restaurant, that's capital intensive. So you need to have money, and it's better for you if you don't use your own money. And that's why with our basic program, you could be incorporated this morning, and in 4.5 months, you're going to have about $75,000 in the credit line, and you're building that up over time. So 3, 4, 5 years from now, it might be worth $500,000. 10 years from now, it's $1.5 million.
So if someone, a small business, is listening out there right now and they want to tap into your service to find out about building corporate credit, what do they need to do? Where do they need to go? Is there a phone number?
Very simple. They start off at our website, and our web address is very, very simple. It's THE, the word the, then CDNP.com.
The CDNP.com. That's the name of the website. The THE CDNP.com.
Let me write that.
That's a site you want to go to if you want to find out about corporate credit. And Mr. Francisco and I, we've been talking about teaming up And also, you'll be able to access that thecdnp.com website at my link, also at smallbizpro.net. So that's going to be a great partnership where we can share this wealth of information to a lot of small businesses in multi-dimensional areas.
Yeah, because that's a big issue. I mean, even Felicia is always asking that question. She's been in business for a number of years, and we have a lot of businesses that have been in business 2 to 3 years, and when they go out and they try to get funding, and then the banks are going to tell you, why aren't you using your own money? Bootstrap it first and then come to us. But there's just so much bootstrapping you can do. Use your own credit cards. I mean, when you research where to find money as a startup, that's the first thing they tell you. Use your pension funds if you have them, which is stupid. And
use your 401k. Go cash in your 401k.
Take equity out of your home. And as we can see after the meltdown, that was a bad idea.
You know what's amazing also? They're telling us to do that, but they're not doing it themselves.
Right, exactly.
Because they're using our money
in order to
fund their ventures.
And so then when you go to send them, and then the banks, and I mean, we deal with Vermont Slauson and a number of business resource group, all of them. But the first thing they ask you, and I've been to capital raising seminars or access to capital, and when the people leave out, they're like, I don't know anything more than when I came in here. That was a waste of time. It's the same information the last one we had told me, and they come out and they look so depressed. And your credit your business credit is based upon your personal credit. When you ask them how to establish business credit, like,
say we need to change that. That's what we need to do.
And I see that all the time.
So business credit is not based on personal credit. The only time personal credit is an issue is if you're trying to get a lot of money. And that will not become an issue if you're just starting out. So if this is your first opportunity to set up your corporate credit, your personal credit is not an issue. And if anybody tells you that, they're lying to you or they just don't know any better.
Now, when an entrepreneur, small business is trying to get set up on the cdnp.com website in order to build their corporate credit, what are some of the things they need to have in order to get ready? Is there a checklist of items they need to have?
Absolutely. All the information you need about what we do and how we do it is at that website.
Okay. So there's a checklist there that entrepreneurs and small businesses can go to. And once you obtain that checklist, then you start gathering those items. And when you log in, then you can go through the process. How long is the process?
It's about 4.5 months. So here are a few things that you need. You're going to have a business address. It can't be your house. And a virtual office will do. You're going to have a phone number that listed in 411, and it's got to be a business phone. It can't be your cell phone because they're going to check.
Okay.
You have to, of course, be incorporated somewhere because they're going to check on that too. Okay. You need a website. Okay. You got to have a website. It can be just a basic website, but
so you basically have to have a carbon imprint out there in the airways, so people know that you are a real legitimate business.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, what if they're a sole proprietor? Can they be a part of this as well?
Absolutely. So if you're a sole proprietor and if you've been that way, believe me, as a business advisor, I run into a lot of people, including doctors, that have been operating in this town for 25 years as a sole proprietor. Now, that's mind-blowing.
Yeah, that is, man. A doctor?
Yes.
Oh, my God, all the liability.
Yeah, all the exposure.
Including OBGYN.
Oh, no.
Yes, it's out there.
I always tell my client when I have a class, I always tell them, if you're dealing with children, seniors, dogs.
And women. Or money.
Food. Make sure you have the right structure because they will destroy you.
Yeah.
So if you've been operating unwisely as a sole proprietor, that's all right. But you're going to have to set up a corporation. We have to establish a corporation for you. And then if you've been in business 10, 15 years and you have real revenue, so now we're talking about getting you real money.
Yeah.
Right.
We're not talking about getting you $75,000 anymore.
Right.
Because this will be based on the fact that you have income and financials and so on, and a bank balance. They always, by the way, they always check. They have a way of checking your bank account. So that's part of the underwriting process.
Like when you buy a house, you got to have X amount of dollars in that bank account when they go to do the checking.
Yeah, they want to see. They want to see how much money is going through your account for the last.
Which is a good point you just brought up, and I want to throw this out there to let many small businesses know that, because they may have more than one bank account. They may have the business, they may have the personal, they may have something else. They want to select one of those accounts that whenever they generate revenues, the money goes directly into that account. Because what they're looking at, what they're measuring is, okay, let's see how much money is going into this account on a monthly basis. So even if you're taking out money out of the account, as long as you're putting it in, they want to see what's going in. Because they want to see your ability to bring in money.
Right. It's called bank qualification. They do look at that.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and that's why with my bank account, my operating account, my income account, I make sure all of my checks go straight into that account. Whether it's going to be taken out in 5 minutes or not, it goes into that account.
Well, yeah. When I set up a person's accounting, their books, we have a general account that all your money's cycled through. You can transfer it out to your savings account if you choose to.
Yeah.
But you need to make sure the bank is processing your business income.
Yeah.
So that we have that account. You have your savings account, and if you do payroll, I always suggest that they have a payroll account. So that is an in and out.
That would be your operating account.
So that's clean.
Yes.
And no commingling of the funds.
Yes, exactly.
And so it just makes sense to. So if you set up your corporation's credit and your business fails, well, that's okay. It doesn't affect you personally. It's not going to do any damage to your personal accounts, to your credit. Just the business just failed, as opposed to you financing it yourself and it fails.
Right. Which is what happened during the meltdown. I mean, a lot of realtors, they had, I don't know what they were doing. It was all based upon their personal, because I had several friends that their FICO scores dropped. And why were we using your FICO scores in the first place? Why weren't you using
They probably were commingling funds.
Yeah, because that doesn't make sense, right? It should not have affected. If everything had been out of their name and they'd been doing business and they had their business credit, that may have been affected, but their personal credit, until we got to them losing their homes, shouldn't have been affected, right?
Right. But by the way, when it comes to business credit, lots of banks, for example, if your corporation's credit is set up and you go to buy a car, lots of dealers will ask you for your SOCH, and they'll ask you to personally guarantee the purchase.
Right.
The reason they're doing that is because, like banks, if a bank tells you I'm going to hold on to your check for 5 days and you say that's okay, then they'll do it because they can get away with it.
But if you said no.
But if a dealer tells you that and you laugh at him, he's going to give you the car anyway, because this is based strictly on your company, not on you. So there's no reason for you to give him your Social Security number.
Yeah.
There's no reason for him to run your credit. Now, if he can get away with it, if you don't know any better, he's going to do it.
Right, exactly. I tell you, if you don't know, you don't know.
That's
and
right.
you make some really bad decisions
And
based
if you
upon
don't know,
not
sometimes
knowing.
it costs you.
It costs you a lot of money, whereas having someone to advise you, a consultant prior to that, will definitely save you so many more dollars than trying to skimp on that in the beginning.
Yep.
I think that if nothing else out of this, that's the conversation that people should be having.
Definitely.
Is it worth it in the beginning? Because what's going to happen on the back end, right?
Which is what happened to all these people that go to LegalZoom.
Well, yeah, probably, yeah. More like, well, even then, not just that, they don't even know why. They don't know what LegalZoom did. right? They just know that now I'm incorporated, but they don't understand the process. And that's one of the things, people look at us and they go, wow, you and Gilbert know everything. We read and we do research.
And we've stumbled along the way, so we learn from those stumbles.
You learn from the stuff, and then we share that with you. But again, if you don't know, then you need to reach out to consultants and coaches and people who do know, so that you can make the right decisions. Because having a business is not a cheap entity. You put a lot of time and energy and money into it, and you want it to be done the correct way.
Right,
and it should be done the correct way. I mean, there are nonprofits that have that problem, and that's another conversation, but they could avoid some of the issues. First of all, just knowing that they don't own the nonprofit. That's probably the first thing that would be great for them.
Right. Now, with 3 minutes to go, what are some of the key takeaways that you'd like small businesses and entrepreneurs to know about this whole process we've been talking about? We talk about asset protection. We talk about building business credit. So what are some of the key takeaways?
The big thing is, look, there's in life, there's no free lunches, okay? Mm-hmm. If someone's trying to sell you a Rolls Royce for the price of a Volkswagen, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
You're going to get what you pay for. So that's why if you go to LegalZoom, you want to pay nothing, that's what you're going to get. There's just no getting around it.
And even for what you're saying for the corporate credit, there are a number of entities out there. I've gotten quite a few phone calls because they want access to Recycle Black Dollars members to come out and talk about building their credit. And when I have that conversation with them, right off the bat, it's like, no, that can't work like that. I mean, but they're giving you the bill of goods, which is a network marketing a process anyway. And so when they start telling me, oh no, we can get you for $3,000, we can get you this. Okay, so what's the procedure? Mm-hmm. And then the procedure gets very fuzzy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then like, no, I'm sorry, I can't. I tell you what, you can come to the meeting, you can talk to the people, but me referring you, no, that'll never happen.
So now here's another thing. For people who have been in business for, even if just a couple of years, and you have income, then we can set up your corporation's credit, and you can get more than this $75,000.
Okay.
So it's be based on what kind of money you've been making.
Okay.
So.
Let me ask you this question real quickly with 60 seconds to go. Paydex, what is that? Why do small businesses need to know about it? Should they maintain it? Why is it important?
Okay, so the Paydex score is what's issued by D&B, and it's a number from 1 to 100. Mm-hmm. You always want to be about 80 and above. Most people have an 80 and above, and your number is based on whether or not you're paying your vendors or people extend credit to you on time. Mm-hmm. Each one of the credit reporting services have their own system. Experian has its own number. Equifax have their own number. But Paydex, of course, D&B being the 800-pound gorilla, everyone knows what a Paydex score is.
And it seems to move more rapidly than, say, your FICO score, because I've actually gone into companies where that number was way low because of whatever. It's churches, and I've gone in, and then when we've made sure that the accounting system and programs have working and we got everything paid, then it just changes. Like within, you could actually make that change in 3 to 6 months.
Absolutely.
And you see it. Absolutely. And then your vendors see it, and they're very comfortable with that process much faster than your personal credit.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, we've had a great show. It was excellent having you here, Mr. Francisco. And we've had Mr. Rubert Francisco from JE Holdings, LLC. He taught us a lot about LLC, C Corporation, and we're definitely going to take him up on that, Crystal.
I learned a lot as well. I mean, there's a lot of things. I'm like, did you know that? Did you know that? Did you know that? Because, we've had the people.
Yes.
RBD has had so many people come in and speak at a meeting,
Yes.
and a lot of what you've said was never discussed in any meeting that I've been in, and so definitely informative. Thank you very much for being a guest on our show.
It's my pleasure.
And I'll make sure when we do the video clip, we want to give you a video, but we'll make sure that we're highlighting the what is it,
CDNP, the CDNP.com.
Okay, I'll make sure that's in the description with the video, and we'll pump it out there and see what we can get some people some help, because finding funding for small businesses is crucial. And
listen, as a philosophy, here's with all my businesses, here's my philosophy. I don't try to sell people anything. What I want to do is I want to give you information. Mm-hmm. And if you find that it's beneficial for you, you'll take advantage of it. Not all things are for all people.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly.
So I never try to sell. I think it's kind of an insult to try to sell people things. I don't try to sell anybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'll give you information, and then you use it or not use it.
You make an intelligent decision if that's something you want to do. At some point, they'll be back to you anyway.
Thank you all for being our audience, our studio audience, and our public audience today on the Business Zone with
Crystal
and Gilbert Buchanan, the small business paramedic. We'll see you next week from 3 to 5 on the Business Zone, MorrisMediaLive.com. We're out.
And see you next week.
Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft, but Larry has a very tough time managing his paperwork because he is busy taking care of his clients' needs. Larry just cannot find his important business documents when needed. Larry is also being passed over for bid opportunities from prime contractors because he is perceived as not ready. He doesn't know where his business license, certifications, insurance, and other key corporate documents are located most of the time. Lucy owns an auto body and collision repair shop and has been using a business management and procurement assistance program called